To respond to that specific charge, you have an incumbent chief minister in Madhya Pradesh. You've not projected him as the chief ministerial face. You have a former chief minister in Rajasthan. You've not even declared her candidacy from her seat. Why this strategy? Why the strategy of deliberately not projecting state faces?
Zaka, like I mentioned, politics and especially elections are an evolving situation. We don't go by a fixed strategy. Winnability is the only criteria. But let me today say this on record, that, the way the Congress party has behaved in the last few days, its inherent duplicity and divisive nature, people today are furious. And, the situation on the ground is changing very fast. You will be surprised by the results on 3rd December. And especially today, do you think the Congress resolution on Palestine will not have a bearing on the ground? This is a party which repeatedly compromises national interests. It is condoning an act of terror virtually. The support for Palestine in a situation like today, immediately in the aftermath of the worst terror attack in Israel, virtually shows the soft approach of the Congress party towards the terror, and this will be a big factor in the election. But
again,
apart from
just one second. Let him respond. Let him respond to that. The CWC. No, the point that you asked, Oli, the CWC resolution today. How can you talk about Palestinian right to self-determination when you see those terrorists coming through paraglides and sailboats and attacking innocent civilians? It's stone deaf, Mohan Kumaramangalam.
It's a support for Hamas.
Zaka, wait, hold on a second.
Mohan Kumaramangalam.
Zaka, I'm sorry, but the reason I was smiling all through his monologue was because this is typical of BJP. They have failed in all the governments they've run in their states. So they're going to pick up issues that are national issues and try and run the election on them. Now they don't really have a national issue because they're failing on price rise, corruption, and employment. So they're going to go to international issues. I challenge him, and in any state, if this is the narrative they're going to go with, which is that Congress supports Palestine and we support Israel, and that's the main thrust of their campaign, I would love to see it, because they're not going to win a single seat.
Tuhin, what relevance does it have? What relevance does it have in Madhya Pradesh or Rajasthan or Chattisgarh, Tuhin?
Between 2005 and 2008, India saw some of its worst blasts across the country that included places like Ahmedabad, that included places like Guwahati. So if the Congress party feels that national security is not an important issue across the country, then I feel sorry for this Congress party, which has reduced itself to a fringe group.
Okay.
Number two, I also did not speak about, allow me to complete, please. An equal duplicity has been shown by the Congress party on the issue of OBC census. Now, there are two states where apparently the CM's claim that the caste survey has been done, which includes Chhattisgarh, but Bhupesh Baghel, when he was asked last week, blatantly refused to reveal the data. So unless, he's scared that the entire exercise was erroneous or a sham, why would he not reveal the data?
Okay, we got to wrap it up at that. We'll see how this story plays out. The heartland states are absolutely important, both for BJP and for the Congress. Like I said, there's no correlation between the winter of 2023 and the summer of 2024, much like what we saw in 2018-19, where the Congress won all of these three states, but it went on to lose the Lok Sabha and quite big time in these very same states. But it will set the tone, at least for the Congress within the India alliance, to establish its own primacy, and for the BJP to try and stem this narrative that Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah, while they control the national narrative, they are the biggest. Mr. Modi is the biggest leader nationally for the BJP. Somehow that doesn't translate into state elections, as was seen in Karnataka. They need to sort of alter that narrative. They need to change that narrative a bit. So for both the national parties, this upcoming winter election is absolutely critical, and we'll keep an eye out here on CNN News 18.